Okay, hello and welcome. This is Ahmed Raga from the Academic Professional Training, and this is actually we're starting today talk about the core of the tool, IBT. This is the introduction to the course. Anyway, so how are you first, and how is your life? Now, many of you have heard that thing, have heard like the word TOEFL, okay? But we don't know what's that. What is the TOEFL? And we've heard also another word which is IELTS. We've heard we've heard lots of words, lots of certificates. But what are these certificates? That's better. Now today we're going to talk about the TOEFL. Now what is the TOEFL? Now the TOEFL is a certificate that can qualify you to be like for example, if you're going to travel, to study abroad, to work abroad, some organizations, they ask. Now let's start our presentation and let's start talking about this thing. Okay, so the TOEFL IBT. Okay, now for the TOEFL IBT, what can we say? Now what's the meaning of IBT? First, now if we're talking about the definition of TOEFL, now for TOEFL we have here a definition. TOEFL. Now it's an abbreviation. What means abbreviation? Abbreviation, a shortcut. Okay, so a shortcut for test of English as a foreign language. Okay, so it's a test for non-native speakers. Now, if you're not a native speaker, if you're not American, if you're not British, if you're not any native speaker of English, so you need this certificate to tell like the other organization or to show to the other organization that you can speak English and interact with English well. Okay, so that's the first thing. So TOEFL, TOEFL, it's a test of English as a foreign language. Okay, so that's the abbreviation. Okay, abbreviation for the vocabulary. Now, how about IBT? Now, if we're talking about this part, we need to understand something important. IBT is the internet-based test. It's shortcut for internet-based test. It's different than other kinds of tools because we have different kinds. We had the CPT, we had the PBT, and we had like also the ICT. Now, what are the differences? What's the difference between IBT, PBT, PBT, and like the last one is ICT? It depends on your organization and the country you're going through. So, like for example, okay, let's imagine this: if you're traveling abroad, so you need the international one. The international one is the internet-based test. What's that? That's an exam, and we're going to talk about it in details now. Now, before we go to this, we need to say the PBT, the CPT, and the last one, ICT. Now, the PBT is the paper-based test. Okay, that's the local TOEFL, what we call the TOEFL. CPT was computer-based, and the institutional ICT, which is like for some institutions. Nowadays, people use it to take master, for example. If you're applying to have your own master from the college or something like that, so you can take the ICT. Okay. Now, as for the PBT, local, sometimes some local organizations they ask for the PBT. As well for the IBT is the international one. That if you're traveling abroad, if you're traveling to study abroad, if you're traveling to like immigration or something like that, so they ask for something called the IBT, okay, the internet-based test. Now let's talk about it more, okay? Now, what's the test? What's that test? Okay, the TOEFL test measure your ability, okay, to use English and understand it. Like, are you able to use English in a good way, in an effective way? Meaning, one important thing we need to understand about the TOEFL. In the TOEFL preparation, we are not going to teach anything related to the TOEFL test. Meaning, related to English. I mean, like we're not going to study English. We're not going to study something related to general English. We're not going to study something, for example, about verbs or something like that. We're going to explain them. We're going to recap them. But we're not going to study something related to English because technically the IBT or the TOEFL is something to help you in using your own language in a good and effective way. Okay. What do you mean? Like, let's say I'm traveling to work abroad, okay, and that working abroad, like I would travel to work in USA, for example. I would travel to work in Australia. I would work in Canada, London, wherever. So any of these countries, if I'm traveling there, you need to have you need to have the TOEFL test. Why? To prove to them and show them how good am I in English. Okay. To prove to them how good I am in English. Okay. So technically, it's a way of measurement. So it measures your ability, your performance in writing, speaking, reading, and listening. So these are the four categories in the TOEFL IBT. The four categories, so reading, speaking, listening, and writing. So we have tasks, academic tasks. You need to like perform well in them to prove like how good you are in it. Okay? Now let's go next. Now, who takes the TOEFL test? Now, as I was saying, if you're going to immigrate, if you're going to study abroad, because technically more than 9,000 colleges and agencies, they actually require the TOEFL test in 130 countries. Now, they require you to take the TOEFL test. Why? To show how good are you in English. If you're going to immigrate, as I said, if you're going, for example, to travel to Canada, travel to Australia, okay? So, if you're going to that place, you need to take the TOEFL test. Also, in some countries, in some places, they need it for medical and license. What do I mean? Medical professionals. Like, for example, you're going to be a doctor. So doctors, they actually deal with each other and deal with English all the time. So if you're going to be a doctor, sometimes they require you to have a TOEFL test. What we have in our countries, in the Arab countries, you can take the master with a local TOEFL. But if you want to take the PhD, like after graduation, you need a PhD after the master degree. You have PhD. So if you want to be called doctor or professor or something like that, so they will need you to take the TOEFL test. They will need you to actually apply for it and score in it, a specific score. Sometimes they need you to enter college. If you want to actually go to college, sometimes they require you to score a specific score. So how how to score? That's what we're going to be introduced to in this presentation. Also, sometimes some people, they use it to improve the usage of their English. Meaning, like, I need to use my English in a good and correct way, so I can take the TOEFL test. That can help you a lot. But I want to learn about English. I want to learn some rules. I want to learn some things about, for example, vocabulary and all of these things. No, it's better to take the general English. So again, and I say it again, in a TOEFL preparation, the TOEFL preparation prepares you so you can score in the exam. Meaning, like, I will help you to know the tricks how to score in the exam and to solve the questions faster than the normal way you are now. Because some people, yes, they may have good English, they can solve the questions, but you need to have somehow we don't have that much time of solving these things. Okay? So that's for who takes the quiz. Now, go next. Okay? Now, another question. Where and when can I take the TOEFL IBT? Where and when? Now, the people who are actually can qualify you for the test center are a lot, are like over 4,500, okay, in 165 countries. So you have like lots of countries. We have like these people who can actually like give them like this test, test over the internet. Okay. So now this test, let me tell you something about this test. Now this certificate, like lots of certificates, it has an expiry date. Meaning, okay. Now you can take the TOEFL test and you can have the score, and after years, no, after 2 years, it expires. It expires and you have to take it again. These are one of like tests that expire the year. So now, as we said, that we can take the TOEFL from 4,500 test centers in 165 countries. Okay, and some like English testers in the world, they give the same certificate. Okay, now pay attention to something important. You cannot take it more than once in a 12-year period. Meaning, like you can take it like today, you have to wait 12 years until you retake the same exam again. So you need 12 days, not less than this. That's one of the rules that they put. So you know, for example, go today to the sofa and go tomorrow, whatever. Okay? So again, so we can take it around the world, anywhere in the world. Most likely it will be in your country. I guess it's Saudi Arabia. Okay? And to retake the whole exam again, you need to wait for 12 days. Okay? Okay. The TOEFL IBT. As we said, we have 4. We have writing, listening, speaking, and reading. Okay? Now the whole test takes about 4.5 hours. Okay? So 4 hours and a half, that's for the whole test. I have for each section amount of time I have to stick with it. Meaning, when I saw my TOEFL test, when I saw my exam, I have to pay attention that each question should be timed. Now, the point of this exam is not solving all the questions, okay? But some people, they spend like in a question 5 minutes or 6 minutes, something like that. That's not correct. Why? Because everything is timed. Everything should be timed. Everything should, I should give each question amount of seconds, not minutes. Why? Because I don't want to take from the other questions time. Okay? So I have to pay attention to my time. So we will practice on how actually we will solve that in the upcoming session. Okay? So as you said, we have 4 sections and the whole exam is 4 hours and a half. Okay? Now, while you're at the place, you're allowed to take notes. You will take like a small notebook, take your pen, and you're allowed to take notes about things. Yeah, that's allowed. Okay. It's important to take notes. And we will teach you how to take these notes. Because they're very important. Now we are, as human beings, are tempted to forget always. We always forget things. So we need always to take notes. Taking notes will help you a lot in your answer. Because you need to answer the things in a complete way, in a correct way. So now, and the exam is 4 hours and a half. This is a lot for anyone. So I need to take notes so I can learn how to answer my question. Okay. Now, in the upcoming slides, we talk about like some types of questions and other things. Okay. So we talk about the fiction, and we talk about fiction. We talk about the TOEFL test. We talk about when and where should I take the TOEFL test. So again, it's 4 sections: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. Very nice. Okay. And each one has an amount of marks, and each one is timed. Now let's pay attention to something in the section. There is something called in section is called integrated speaking. Integrated speaking. What's the meaning of integrated speaking? It is integrated speaking. That means I combine 2 skills together. Like for example, read and listen, then speak and respond to this question. That's number 6. Listen, then speak and respond to the question. Read, listen, and then write the response. So, all of these, that's all of it. So in the reading part, I have some reading, pure reading. Then I have the integrated reading. I read and listen. Then I speak about something. Then also for the listening part, we have a part that you listen just. Then after that, like I listen, then I speak about something. A lot of parts it is read and listen, then write, not speak. Then write. These are the integrated tasks. Now let's go for how, like many minutes for each, like for each part, and like how many questions and all of it. Okay, now let's go next. So here in this table, we have like, it shows us how many minutes for each question and how many questions and what should I do with it. Now in the reading part, we have from 60 to 80 minutes. And it's divided like into 36 to 56 questions. So the maximum is 56 questions. And all of these will be like in 3 or 4 passages. Okay. So on 3 or 4 passages, I have 56 questions. Different academic passages. Pay attention to something important. Now, lots of people, they do this. They try to have the passage, the whole passage, try to read the whole passage, then after that I try to answer the passage. Now let's think about it like this. Now I've wasted all my time in reading the passage. Now after that, I need time to read the question, read the answer, then find my answer through the passage. Is this correct? No. It's not correct. That's the mistake that most people do, by the way. Most people, they get distracted with details. Let's say, for example, passage is talking about Pepsi. Okay? Talking about Pepsi, talking about Honda, talking about Hyundai, or any famous brand. Okay? So it's talking about it, so I get distracted. Okay, and I read the rest, go for details, get new information, new knowledge. But you forgot the point of the text. The point of this text originally in English not to give you some new information. Not to give you like information about like Pepsi or Coca-Cola or any of these brands. Not to give you some information about Isaac Newton or something like that. Not to give you information about brand or anything. Just to pay attention. Now I have to pay attention that I have to answer this question in a time way. Now, each question should take for me 1 minute. Okay. 1 minute, just 1 minute. And I do some other things with the reading that will help me to answer this question. We're going to go through them in a few. Okay. So, each question should take 1 minute. Now, how about this? Now, in this question, I spend a minute and I couldn't answer it. What should I do? Typical. I have to select the rest of the question. That's more important. But for example, if you spend in a question 10 minutes, so you wasted, like for example, somehow 1/8 from the time in just reading this. In just solving that question. And that question maybe it will actually be 1 mark or something like that. You know? That's not correct. So here in the reading part, we'll take care of some skills. And one of the most important things that you should pay attention while you actually trying to do the reading part is not to read the whole thing and not to get distracted. If you got distracted, you'll lose time. And time is a very important factor in that exam. And that exam time is everything. Now, as we can see from the table, so all of them are timed. All of them, they have a specific time. And I have 2 minutes break. So we start with the reading part. We start with the reading part. It lasts from 60 to 80 minutes. Now let's pay attention to something else, another problem that people do sometimes. It's a huge mistake, which is sometimes I want to finish fast. Finish fast, finish like, for example, the whole exam, the 60 minutes, I finish them in 50 minutes. Or I finish them in 40 minutes. That's wrong. Again, now, you're not going to take a bonus. Meaning, if you finish the exam in 50 minutes, you're not going to take a bonus because you finished in 50 minutes. Hey, so use the time. Use it wisely. It's important. Now it's your time. Use it. That's what's important. Now, don't just like go and actually, I will finish early. Why? Why should you do this? Finishing early will not lead you anywhere. Finishing early will lead you to one place that maybe you made lots of mistakes because you didn't think about it. Because if you finish early, that means you didn't think about any of the questions. You didn't do some effort. The minimum for the reading is 60 minutes. Why? You have like 3 to 4 passages and you have 56 questions, you know. If you give each question 1 minute, you have 4 minutes to just keep reading the passage. And that's wrong. That's not true. So you need more than this to skim read the passage, to scan the passage, to read for details, to go for the interference, to go for references. All of these are skills like related to the reading. How to do them? That's the question. How to do the task? That's the other question. The question here is that should I finish fast? Should I finish early? No. This is not a must. Okay. And technically, all of them are linked. You finish the reading and go to the listening. Then you take a break and you take the speaking and the writing. Okay. The integrated skills are going to be mixed with each section. So use your time wisely. Pay attention to each question. Read the question carefully. And also give yourself a break. Don't just try to solve fast on it. Okay? Now let's go for the listening. Now what is the listening? The listening, you listen to lectures, listen to discussion between classmates, listen to discussion between a student and a professor, all of these. So we have the dialogue and the monologue. Okay? Dialogue between two monologues and all of these things. You listen to a lecture, people are talking and you answer the question. I'm sorry, not people, person is talking. Professor. Most likely you will have like a lecture from a professor, he's explaining something and you have questions on that. We'll talk about the listening skill in a future talk. Okay? After that, you take like a 10-minute break. After the break, you go to the speaking part. The speaking part has like the minimum like amount of minutes. It has 20 minutes. Six tasks. Some of them are integrated, some of them are not. Okay. So you speak sometimes based on a reading, speak based on a listening, and other things. Some tasks are general tasks. What do I mean by general? Now, for example, ask a general question. Like, what will you do with your friend, like, when he comes from abroad? Or if someone visits your country, where would you take him? So, all of these. So I try to speak, I try to answer this question. He needs to qualify me, he needs to measure my skills in that speaking part. He needs to see, am I able to actually create an answer and speak about it and talk about it or not? That's the question. This is what he's actually trying to make. The last skill is writing. Writing takes 15 minutes. 2 tasks, One of them is an essay, one of them is a task. Talking about the essay, you respond based on a reading. Now, you read something, and you listen to something, and you respond to it, okay? And you have to support your opinion in the essay with like some of the things, some of the details. That's why we said you should take notes. You take notes of everything. Take notes about, okay? After you finish the selection notes, of course, we don't give you the notes, we don't give you to leave the notes, okay? So again, we have 4 sections: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. For the reading, we have from 60 to 80 minutes. For the listening, we have 60 to 90 minutes. For the speaking, we have 20 minutes. For the writing, we have 50 minutes. Reading part, we have from 36 questions to 56. Listening, 34 to 51. Speaking, 6 tasks. We said 2 of them are general. 4 of them are somehow directed to something. Writing is 3 tasks. One of them is editing, one of them is text. Okay? Now do that. Cool. Now, we have to understand this. Now, before the scores were different, right? The local TOEFL before was different than the international TOEFL. But now, okay, all of them are like that, the same. Like the international, it's 100%. And that's like the international one that everyone goes on. The international. Now, okay, if we're talking about the scores now are 120, are divided like equally between like sections. We have 4 sections: reading, listening, writing, and reading. So, speaking. So we have to each one 30 marks. Now, some organization they ask a specific score for each section, and some of the organizations they have like we want the score for the whole set. Now, most likely for a test like say test like for example for the local or something like that. So you don't be measured by 120. So the paper base, okay, or what we call it the local TOEFL, which is like not okay, not nowadays we don't actually like go with it, but it was from 670. Okay, we had listening, structure, writing, structure and writing, and reading. Okay, we didn't have speaking. The paper base doesn't have speaking. It has listening, structure, writing, okay, and reading. Now for the listening, you had 68. For the structure, you have structure and the writing, you have 68 again. And for the reading comprehension, you have, okay. Now, sorry, you have them like, that's the range between, okay. And you have to have like something out of 670. That was for the local TOEFL. Okay. Now, so as we agreed, we have 30 to each section: 30 listening, 30 reading, 30 speaking, and 30